Hey everyone, RemanX here, and it may seem like I'm not that excited about this patch, but you're wrong. I'm actually pretty darn excited about the characters coming out, which is one of the reasons why I'm going to cover this kind of in my usual, way the good, the bad, and give you guys the reality of what's coming and how to prepare for it. So let's talk a little bit about two new characters that you're going to see today. It's going to be Cloak and Dagger. Much rumored, you may have seen their kits in some early leaks that may have come through, and so they're confirmed, and we'll go into that in more detail. We're also going to talk about the uniques that you're going to need for this, and we're going to call them this patch jars of sadness, because if you built out a Morlock and were, exhausted your supply of miasma, boy, do we have some bad news for you. But we're going to talk about something really quickly. Let's start with this. We had a 6-week patch, which means 3 characters over a 6-week patch. So when we're following up with a 4-character patch, we shouldn't be that surprised. Hopefully this is another longer patch going into the end of summer here. Maybe they'll take some time off for Labor Day. Stay tuned. What this means is they're kind of buffering, what's happening here. So we know we've got Cloak, Dagger, Shang-Chi, and finally the character that I'm super excited for is Deathpool. So first things first, we're going to talk about these kits now. Cloak is probably best paired with Dagger. I'm going to say that they're both kind of nice to have characters, but when they're together, they start working some magic. Let's start with Cloak's kit. We'll start with the passive. At the end of the character's turn, 50% chance to steal health, 5% from the most injured enemy. Now remember, this doesn't say it bypasses death proof, so that means it's probably the newer condition. So it won't just take a character that has death proof off the board. And then if Dagger is an ally, always steal that health. Gain focus. Now the big difference is he's going to wind up with a ton of dodge. 20% dodge base, 10% if Dagger's an ally, and then if he has offense up, which you can frequently give him, he'll have the additional 20% dodge for about 50% dodge. So he's a pretty powerful character, and as a controller with all that dodge, it'll be reminiscent of some of the other characters that are just nearly impossible to hit. So he's not going to be taking a ton of damage in raids. More importantly, he's giving new warrior allies 15% damage, which is crazy considering what you're going to be giving to Deathpool. So ultimate here, it's going to be the first ability you probably use to tackle enemies and apply 3 random effects. This feels a little bit like Moon Knight, blind defense down, disrupted offense down and slow. And then this is something unique. He's going to be the first character applying vulnerable as part of his kit. So it's going to be important because they don't need to be skirmishers per se to have that. But I will say that with skirmishers, they can apply additional to the characters here. And then if Dagger is an ally, and then apply +1 offense down, so it'll always apply offense down up to a maximum of 5. It's going to be important when you look at the other kits here. And then clear all positive effects on the primary target. Attack primary target for 300% damage. This is the special. Apply slow for 2 turns, defense down for 2 turns, and offense down for 2 turns. And then gain an assist from Dagger ally. Remember they had at plus 50% damage. So pretty powerful assists here. Like I said, they're going to be kind of a really cool duo, and mystic portion of this. And then the Umbral Embrace here, or the Into Darkness with the basic, and then he's basically always applying offense down. So very, very powerful character. Again, this mystic node is going to be largely solved. We're going to show you guys that in a moment here. And so you see the developer notes here, which is kind of interesting. We'll go into that a little bit later. It's interesting how they kind of, their thoughts on why these characters are working together. And I think it's interesting because they capture the duality of Cloak and Dagger. If you're a fan of the comics, you know that they kind of go hand in hand with how they acquired their powers, and more importantly, how they offset each other, which is pretty cool. So Light Force generation, you know that she's the mistress of the Light Force. On Spawn, apply 3 regeneration for 2 turns to self and all Mystic Hero allies, which is pretty powerful. On turn, apply offense up to self and all adjacent allies. Again, giving that to Cloak will provide him with the extra dodge. On turn, 50% chance to gain evade. If Cloak is an ally, always gain evade. There you go, another way she's not going to be hit. And then there's resistance for the Mystic Hero allies. And then in raids, she's also giving them 15% damage. So 30% damage, Cloak plus Dagger equals domination from Mystic characters. Pretty powerful when you talk about the new warriors getting that bonus. Deathpool is just going to be a force to be reckoned with. And then her ultimate here will be her second ability, but she's going to start with the peak. I'm saying it wrong, PK. And I also speak French, and this is terrible. Energy cost 5 out of 5. Attack primary target for 320% piercing. Clear all positive effects. Chain to 4 adjacent targets for 290% piercing. And on crit, clear 3 positive random effects. This is interesting. Clear heal block from all Mystic Hero allies, and then heal all allies. Remember, I say, and then it's a separate line appearing after that. Heal all allies for 20% of this character's max health. So this is going to be important. She is going to be able to bypass heal block, which may mean that they can take on some additional characters that apply heal block on first turn. All right. And then her basic is also very powerful, but her ultimate attack, all enemies for 380% piercing, apply +1 offense down to a maximum of 5 to all enemies. And then you're going to see here, if Cloak is an ally, additionally, attack all enemies for 280% damage, apply 3 random negative effects from this list: blind defense down, disrupted offense down, and slow, and then apply +1 vulnerable, a maximum of 5. So these guys are basically have built-in ISO effects. So the first characters in the game to have that, and it is probably interesting to note that they are those 2 characters that are doing that. So maybe there's a story in that. Hopefully they tell a story of why that's happening. Maybe they're an offset creation of some of the AIM research that's brought this to the game. We'll have to see. Stay tuned. So realistically, one of the things I wanted to do was capture kind of this in action for you guys. This is a Doom 1 raid. You're going to see it's been modified to kind of highlight the new power tiers from this. So these green ISOs, again, they're just showcased into the new power levels. They've been, or the new green tier level, the teal tier level. So you're going to see these abilities in action for the first time, and well, you can take with it what it will. One thing is, I may not have played it the exact same way it's being played on the screen as you often see in footage that's provided for me. All I have to say is prepare to be blown away. So this is the Mystic Boss node, probably one of the harder nodes here. You see that he goes straight for Dr. Doom with the ability block, and you'll see how much more powerful this winds up being. So here we go. Goes for the basic. Let's Cloak and Dagger do their magic. And there's that ult with the +1 vulnerable. You'll see that it was applied over there. And you're going to see her ult. So you can see it added another +1 vulnerable up to +2. And with that, we just watched a character just get deleted off the screen. It was Squirrel Girl. I'm not even sure, how to describe that. It's just absolute devastation. And this is going a lot quicker than you thought. At times, too, you barely have the moment to take a look at how much damage is being done. This is insane with what this 3-man crew is able to do. And just kind of showcasing that this is the 1.0 content. I was hoping to see it in 1.1. We'll definitely have to showcase that on the channel as we build these characters up. But you can see that they're already just blowing through the time. There is not much surprise here when you're just watching these characters get erased. I mean, they're quite a bit more powerful. And then there's no ISO blue on these characters either. So these are all ISO green. So you can see that the damage level increase is just absolutely insane. You know, the evade, she's taking almost no damage except for the fact that she does actually make Elsa go off there. So probably a priority target if you're bringing them in because of the fact that they have that passive evade in there. Elsa's have to die quickly. Other than that, I foresee with the energy generation from Deathpool, the debuffs that these guys provide, and you can see that the abilities are up relatively quickly, that this is just probably the fastest you will see a node being done when this full team is assembled. Better than even we saw from the Secret Avengers and whatnot. And again, these are building towards the future. Obviously, we know that the real challenge that these guys are being built for isn't even in the game yet. And that's something I want you guys to consider. So obviously, guys, this is pretty straightforward here. You guys can see the devastation. So again, I want to tell you guys, so the gear 13 unique that's required for Cloak and for Deathpool is Miasma, otherwise known as Jars of Sadness. Again, we just talked about that. These were utilized for Adam Warlock and potentially for Kitty Pryde if you were just getting her and bringing her up as she was made farmable. Fountainable, I'm sorry, wrong word. And then we also have Tesseract Energy for Dagger, who again isn't quite as much of a problem for you guys if you guys are trying to allocate this. But I want you guys to know that we still don't know who Shang-Chi's is. Again, check out msf.gg for that information when it goes live. That stuff will be taken from the data mines that will be updated on that shortly after going live. This is a 4-character patch. These are significant characters. I'm planning on getting them at pretty high stars, whatever it takes. They are building towards the future of content. The current way that we do Mystic will not be good enough when we're looking towards the future. So I have stopped allocating resources for my 1.1 raid team on Mystic, saving specifically for this, and then we'll figure out what the best characters are to assist these guys. It may be Hela, it may very well be Surfer, and some combination of like you saw over here, Doom, Adam Warlock. We'll have to see. It definitely feels like, you know, characters that can drop ability block and get extra energy, like Adam Warlock, something that has an energy battery. Maybe he's better in this category. Anyway, stay tuned. A lot more to come. You can see how these characters are already. And so 4 characters, Deathpool probably number 1 in the patch. I think probably Cloak and Dagger are a close 2nd and 3rd. And if you guys have built up your Heroes for Hire, and I don't want to negate this, the fact that there's a 5th Heroes for Hire means they might be destined for something else more important down the road. Stay tuned for that as well. Anyway, I do things so you don't have to, and I'm going to be putting a lot of resources into these guys day one, hopefully showcasing them for you guys, bringing them up to the Doom 1.1 raid, probably with a minor investment, then gradually bringing them up again so we can determine what impact they have day one. Stay tuned.